Nation, CCFC, I should say. I believe Angel Reese made the team. Caitlin Clark there. This is the video that has been released by the Indiana Fever, and they captioned it by saying she's back. Caitlin Clark will compete with Team USA in the FIFA World Basketball Cup qualifying tournament.
Everybody wants to see star players.
The Indiana Fever just dropped that video, and within hours, the basketball world exploded. Caitlin Clark is officially back on the court. Team USA announced their 12-player roster for the FIBA World Cup qualifying tournament in Puerto Rico, and the rookie who changed everything about women's basketball is suiting up in red, white, and blue. But here's what nobody's talking about yet. This roster announcement tells us way more than just who made the team.
Quick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown, Fever. Clark fires. You bet.
It's finna be box office, man.
Steps back with the three.
It's finna be box office, baby. It's finna be box office.
Look at that roster graphic USA Basketball released. 12 players, veterans like Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Kalia Cooper anchoring the squad. First-timers including Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark, making their Team USA debuts. The tournament runs March 11th through 17th in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Round-robin format against Senegal, Puerto Rico, Italy, New Zealand, and Spain. Standard international basketball setup. But here's where it gets interesting. Notice what's missing from that official poster? USA Basketball put Aaliyah Boston front and center. Perfectly fine choice. She's an elite defender and the anchor of that Fever front court. But Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly drove WNBA ratings up 300% last season, the rookie who sold out arenas across the league, the guard who broke viewership records in her first professional season, she's nowhere on the promotional material.
Just to let you know, we still ain't got no deal done. But
Huge for us. She's really been.
there go Aaliyah Boston video. You know I gotta show some love to AB.
She's really the rock of our team.
Boston step through, lays it in. You can't stop her. Boston inside.
Aaliyah is a great playmaker. If you watch her game, you know how good she is with the ball in her hand. You know, it's another weapon for us, and she's been incredible in that regard.
Bodies in.
Aaliyah Boston is absolutely deserving of that spotlight. The chemistry she built with Clark during the 2024 season transformed Indiana from a lottery team into a playoff contender. Those pick-and-roll connections, the way Boston finishes around the rim off Clark's passes, the defensive versatility she brings, all elite level. And you heard it right there. She's the rock of that Fever team. But let's be honest about what's happening here. This is the same pattern we saw with the 2024 Olympics roster decision. Remember that controversy? Clark got left off the Paris Olympic team despite being the most talked about player in women's basketball. USA Basketball went with veteran experience, which made sense on paper. You don't mess with a gold medal formula. But the backlash was immediate and intense. Fans wanted to see Clark on that international stage. The ratings for those Olympic Games would have been astronomical with her involved. Now she's finally getting that opportunity. 7 months later, the question is whether USA Basketball learned anything from that Olympic snub, or if they're going to make the same mistake twice by downplaying her presence on this roster.
USA Basketball is back, and I am excited, bro. What's this right here? Oh, this Las Vegas Edge. You know, all the other teams are gonna show love to their players. So be it, man. It is what it is. I'm excited. We get some basketball, man. Hopefully we get an update. Probably come back and do this article a little later. Here, this article right here actually breaking down.
There's the reality check. The WNBA still doesn't have a media rights deal locked down. We're in March 2025. The season starts in a couple months, and the league is still negotiating with broadcasters. That's not normal. That's not how a stable professional sports league operates. And it's definitely not how you build long-term growth. Here's what makes this Caitlin Clark situation so critical for those negotiations. Last season, every game she played in became an event. The Fever's season opener drew 2.1 million viewers on ESPN. That's WNBA regular season records being shattered. Her matchups against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, those games were pulling NBA-level audiences, When Indiana made the playoffs, suddenly casual sports fans were tuning in to watch WNBA postseason basketball. The broadcasters know this, they've seen the numbers, they understand that Caitlin Clark is a legitimate ratings driver, not just a flash-in-the-pan story. So when USA Basketball announces this roster, and then doesn't put her on the promotional material, it sends a confusing message. You want the media deal, you want the attention, you want the viewership, but you're not willing to actually market your biggest star.
She's a connector. She brings people together.
Clark firing and
DC is back, baby.
She's hard to defend all the time, like not at times.
Clark punching and hitting. Clark slashing home a three.
The Fever hype video hits different when you understand the context. She's back. Those two words carry so much weight because for 4 months, Caitlin Clark disappeared from competitive basketball. No games, no highlights, no content, and you know what happened to WNBA conversation during that time. It dropped off a cliff. The offseason news cycle has been dominated by CBA negotiations, expansion discussions, and coaching changes, important stuff for the league's infrastructure. Sure, but none of it generates the mainstream attention that Clark brings just by stepping on the court. Sports media wasn't creating daily content about the WNBA, casual fans weren't checking scores or following storylines. The momentum from that incredible 2024 season just evaporated. Now she's back, and immediately the content machine fires up again. That Fever video got millions of views in hours. Basketball Twitter exploded with takes and reactions. Sports shows are suddenly talking about women's basketball again. And this is just the roster announcement. Wait until the actual games start in Puerto Rico on March 11th.
Already qualified for the 2026 FIFA Women's World Cup in Berlin. The team heads to San Juan, Puerto Rico from March the 11th through the 17th for a first round robin against Senegal, Puerto Rico, Italy, New England, and Spain, coached by Kara Lawson with assistant coach Stephanie White, and squad aims to build on pace dominance ahead of the training camp. Now, this is what has came out. As you guys can see there,
Coach Cheryl Reeve is running this team. With Stephanie White as assistant coach, that's a fascinating dynamic right there. Because Stephanie White just took over as head coach of the Indiana Fever this past offseason. She's been working with Caitlin Clark for months now, installing a new system, building that relationship, figuring out how to maximize Clark's talents within a team structure. Now White gets to see Clark in a completely different context, playing alongside and against the best players in the world, operating within Cheryl Reeve's system instead of her own. That's valuable information for a coach. You get to see how your star player adapts to different schemes, how she handles international rules and physicality, how she responds to being one weapon among many instead of the primary focal point. And for Clark herself, this is crucial development time. She's playing with Chelsea Gray, one of the smartest point guards in the world. She's running alongside Kelsey Plum, who's been dominating international competition for years. She's competing against teams that play a completely different style than WNBA opponents. The international game is more physical, more team-oriented, less isolation-heavy. That experience will make her a better player when the Fever season starts.
now this should come as no surprise from anybody. For anybody, bruh. The 12-player roster has been released, and I'm excited because you know what that means? Basketball content is coming back, baby. Yes! The 12-player roster features veterans like Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young alongside first-time.
Let's talk about what this roster actually means for the future of USA Basketball and the WNBA's next generation. You've got Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the two rookies who defined the 2024 season, both making their Team USA debuts together. That rivalry that captivated college basketball and carried over into the pros. It's now playing out on the international stage. The narrative potential here is enormous. Clark and Reese have been linked since that 2023 NCAA championship game when Reese's LSU beat Clark's Iowa. The trash talk, the competitiveness, the mutual respect wrapped in genuine rivalry, It's been compelling content for 2 years straight. Now they're teammates, wearing the same uniform, working toward the same goal. How does that dynamic shift? Do they build chemistry together, or does the rivalry simmer beneath the surface, even when they're on the same side? Beyond the Clark-Reese storyline, you've got Aaliyah Boston continuing to develop that connection with Clark that made Indiana so dangerous last season. You've got veterans like Chelsea Gray and Kalea Cooper who can mentor these young players on what it takes to win at the international level, and you've got a coaching staff that includes Stephanie White, who understands exactly how to use Clark's unique skill set. This tournament in Puerto Rico is happening March 11th through 17th, 6 days of high-level basketball against international competition. The games will be broadcast, which means content, highlights, and continued momentum for women's basketball during what's normally a dead period before the WNBA season starts. USA Basketball has already qualified for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup in Berlin, so this tournament isn't about qualification pressure. It's about building chemistry, testing lineups, and giving these younger players experience in the international system. Think about the position this puts Caitlin Clark in for the next Olympic cycle. She missed Paris 2024, which stung for her and disappointed millions of fans who wanted to see her on that stage. But now she's getting integrated into the USA Basketball program early. She's learning the system, building relationships with the coaching staff, proving she can contribute at the international level. When 2028 rolls around and the Olympics come to Los Angeles, she won't be the outsider trying to break into an established group. She'll be a veteran of the program with years of international experience. The same applies to Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston. USA Basketball is investing in the next generation right now, bringing them into the program while the current stars are still playing, creating continuity instead of forcing a dramatic transition after the veterans retire. That's smart organizational planning. That's how you maintain dominance in international basketball for another decade. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. USA Basketball needs Caitlin Clark more than Caitlin Clark needs USA Basketball. Her brand is already massive. Her marketability is already established. Her impact on the sport is already undeniable. Playing for Team USA adds to her legacy, sure, but it doesn't define her the way it might for other players. USA Basketball, on the other hand, desperately needs her star power. They need the ratings she brings. They need the casual fans who will tune in specifically to watch her play. They need the content and the buzz and the mainstream attention that follows her everywhere. The 2024 Olympics proved that women's basketball got plenty of coverage in Paris, but imagine how much bigger it would have been with Clark involved. So when that official poster comes out and she's not on it, when the promotional material doesn't feature the player who moves the needle more than anyone else in the sport, it reveals a disconnect. USA Basketball is still operating like it's 2016, when the team's collective dominance was enough to generate interest. But the landscape has changed. Individual stars drive engagement now. Personalities and rivalries create storylines that casual fans can follow. And Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in women's basketball. Whether USA Basketball wants to acknowledge that in their marketing or not, the tournament starts in 12 days. We'll see how Cheryl Reeve uses this roster, how the young players mesh with the veterans, and whether USA Basketball finally figures out how to properly promote the talent they have. Because if they're smart, every single promotional video from here until tip-off should feature Caitlin Clark prominently. Not because she's the only player who matters, but because she's the player who will bring millions of new eyes to women's basketball. And isn't that the whole point? Growing the game, expanding the audience, proving that women's basketball deserves the same attention and resources as the men's game. You don't accomplish that by playing it safe with your marketing. You don't accomplish that by hiding your biggest star in the background. You accomplish it by putting Caitlin Clark front and center and letting her star power do what it's been doing for 2 years straight, making people care about women's basketball who never cared before. So the question for you, is USA Basketball making the same mistake twice by downplaying Caitlin Clark's presence on this roster? Or is this actually the smart move, fizzling team chemistry and avoiding the distraction of one player getting too much attention? Drop your take in the comments, because this debate is going to define how we talk about this team for the next 2 weeks. And if you want to see more WNBA content breaking down every game from Puerto Rico, hit that subscribe button right now. The basketball is back, and we're covering all of it.